Okay, we've been talking about the X and Y axis. So if you look at the X and Y axis, the Y axis is the vertical axis. Axes is the plural axis, okay? The vertical axis, who remembers the equation of the Y-axis? X equals 0. X equals 0. Good job memorizing that, okay? Who remembers, okay, the X-axis is the horizontal axis. Who remembers the equation of the X-axis? Y equals 0, okay? So that is true of every single vertical line is going to be an equation. X equals a number. It has an undefined slope. Every single horizontal line is always going to have the equation y equals a number. I'll show you how this works, okay? So the graph of y equals b is a horizontal line. Y-intercept is 0b. The slope is 0 because you don't have any run. You have zero run, and you have actually an infinite rise. Oh no. Did I get that wrong? Yeah, no. I got rise and run wrong. Zero rise is what I meant. Infinite run. That's what a horizontal line looks like, right? It only runs, it does not rise. The graph of x equals a is a vertical line. It has an x-intercept of a, 0. The slope is undefined. Why is the slope undefined? Because we have an infinite rise and we're dividing by 0. We have 0 run. Whenever you divide by 0, that number is called undefined. If you take any number on your calculator and you divide it by 0, it's going to say error, domain error. Try it right now. Hopefully your calculators won't explode. Go 10 divided by 0 and tell me what your calculator tells you. Divide by 0 error. It's not allowed. In math, we cannot divide by 0, okay? This is because if you have $0 and I divide it between all of you, we can actually get $0. But if we say that there's $1 million and it's being divided by no one, how much does each person get? That question doesn't make any sense. If there's $1 million, someone's going to claim it, so it's going to be divided by 1. That $1 million always has an implied denominator of 1, right? Isn't the number, if you write 1 million, what's its denominator? Implied denominator, 1. That means that $1 million is being divided by one person. If there was $1 million sitting in the classroom, you guys are not going to walk away and try not to claim it, right? Am I right or am I right? You're just going to walk away? You're going to leave the $1 million? No. So it's going to be claimed by someone. It's going to be divided at least by one person. There's probably going to be serious chaos ensuing. But you see what I'm saying? The reason why we can't have a number divided by 0, then it doesn't even really exist, does it, if it's being divided by nothing? Okay, so graph each of the lines and calculate the slope. Y equals -3 is going to be what kind of line? Horizontal. And if we know that the x-axis is y equals 0, so y equals -3 is actually parallel to the x-axis. It's a horizontal line. What's the slope of any horizontal line? 0. What about x equals 2? What's that line going to look like? Vertical. And it's going to go all along this line where x is equal to 2. This whole line, x equals 2. It's already labeled right here, okay? It's parallel to the y-axis, and the y-axis was x equals 0. So the slope of any vertical line is always going to be undefined. And here's another way you can think about it, okay? Undefined is like when you hear the word slope, you might think about skiers, right? Is anybody a skier here? The only kind of skiing I will do is this kind of skiing. Here's me. No slope. 0 slope. No slope. means it's not sloped. I will do the cross-country skiing. That's fine. That's me, cross-country skiing. I don't really go, but I would go. If somebody invited me, I would go. Downhill skiing, not so much. Okay, what would happen to you if you decided to ski down this hill that never ends? You would die. You would become undefined. Oh, no. Zero slope is very safe, okay? It's not sloped at all. It's flat. That's how I also like to ride my bike, on no kind of slope. But I do not want to ski off a cliff, okay? You see those swooshes? That means I'm going really fast, and I'm never going to stop. Fell off, like imagine if the earth were flat. Eventually, there would have to be an edge, right? And you fall off the edge. Actually, I saw that. It was like a little meme. It was like a cat meme. And it said, if the earth were really flat, all of the cats would have knocked everything off by now, right? Like push it off the edge. All right. Anyway, undefined. So that's how you can remember undefined. Y equals 1. What kind of line is this? You graph it. Try and graph it. And then tell me what it looks like. How would I graph it? Y equals 1 is parallel to y equals 0. Y equals a number is going to be a horizontal line. And actually, you can even test this. You could have checkpoints. Here's 0, 1. Over here is -3, 1. This point is, what's the ordered pair on that point right there? The point that I drew. Right? 4, 1. So if you notice, if you start to put points along that line, you're going to see they all have something in common. What do they all have? What do all the points on the line y equals 1 have in common? The y coordinate is 1. That's another way you could test it, right? If you're not sure, you could always test it. What's the slope of this? 0. Because another way to write y equals 1 is y equals 0x plus 1, right? That's y equals mx plus b. So the slope right here is 0. 0 times x is 0. Okay, what about x equals -3? What's that line going to look like? Vertical. And it's going to go through right where x equals -3. And again, you could come up with some ordered pairs. -3, 0. Here we have -3, 2. Here we have -3, 4. And we're starting to see a pattern, -3, -3, that they all have something in common. They all have x, the x coordinate is -3. That's why that's the equation of the line, x equals -3. What's the slope of a vertical line? Yes. Are you thinking about the skier? Is that how you remembered? Undefined. And we can't really write this in slope-intercept form because how do you write a slope undefined times x? No, that doesn't work. Okay, so without graphing, we could find the slope between the pair of points. So who can remember what the slope formula is? Who has it memorized now? Okay, go ahead. Tell me, Michael. Yeah. Okay, and what I do is I always write it down and I always label my points. And I will tell you that 100% of the time when students get, no, I should say 99. 99% of the time when students get the slope wrong, they did not label their points and they did not write the equation. And so then they mix it up. So don't mix it up. Just be consistent. So 7 minus 1 over 2 minus 2 equals 6 over 0. What happens when we divide by 0? Undefined. Yes, error, undefined. We don't have that, undefined. We don't have that number in our number system. Can anyone, just by looking at those points, tell me what the equation would be? What is it, Michael? Oh, just guess. For the x. So and that's x equals 2. Because anytime you have an undefined slope, your equation is going to be x equals a number. Since x is 2 in both of those cases, x equals 2 is the equation of the line, right? This is the equation of the line. Okay, you might already see a pattern here. You might already know, but maybe you don't. Maybe you didn't pay attention to what it would be. Anybody have a guess what the equation is going to be here and what the slope is going to be? All right, well, I do, but, but I'm the teacher, so it doesn't matter. Okay, tell me what to plug in for my slope. Who can tell me? M equals what? Yes? -4 minus. Good, I like the parentheses. Use of parentheses is good. Yes? 1 minus 6. Okay, Abdi, what do you get in the numerator? What's -4 minus -4? It's basically the same thing as -4 plus 4, right? And that would be 0. Oh, I was like, what is she doing? This is 0. 0 divided by -5 is equal to, when 0 is in the numerator, what's your answer? 0 is the slope. Anybody can tell just by looking at those two ordered pairs what's the equation of the line? Yes. How'd you come up with that? Yes, y equals is going to be the equation, -4, because the y is -4. That's going to look like this, horizontal line, vertical line. Okay? So those are two things, two concepts you really want to just memorize, is the difference between, hold on one second, what? Oh, okay, because here, since this is a vertical line, it's always x equals a number. Notice that the x is both 2. Okay, that's what we call a vertical line. It's always going to be x equals a number. Then for the horizontal line, the equation is y equals a number. And since the y value is both -4, that's how we got that, because it's a 0 slope. Yeah. We took it from the points. Well, if they're different, then it won't be a vertical or horizontal line. I mean, what do you mean if they're different? Hold on one second. Let me stop this.